Chris left no doubt the kind of man he really is. He and his rep couldn't hold that personality, so it had to come out. And it's a cautionary tale for every woman out there who sees a man, he looks good, he speaks well, but he may have some issues you really don't want to deal with.
Translation: he showed his entire punk ass in this episode.
Welcome to Cliff Alerts.
Today we're going to be talking about OWN Network's reality-based TV series, Ready to Love, season number 8, episode number 10.
But before we get into it, please like, share, and subscribe. Please click that notification button so you know when we upload new content. And we thank you and we are grateful for your support of this channel. So here we go. This is going to be a continuation of last week with the elimination process.
Yeah, Jessica and Sierra were up for elimination, and Marie dropped the news that Sierra is not ready to love.
Well, she wasn't really fully committed or connected to anyone there,
Yeah, that's fair.
basically.
That's fair, and that's accurate.
Right. But Jessica felt a kind of way because Marie used words indicating that she was combative. Sometimes speaking up or speaking your mind or knowing what you want, you're labeled in such a harsh way. So I thought it was unfair for Marie, first off, to use those words, but he didn't. And Jessica was clearly upset. Well, they said combative and argumentative, and we did see them have a argument. They did.
Combative, though?
No, she wasn't combative. When they went to the improv,
Nowhere near combative from my vantage point.
right.
Nowhere
I
near.
think Chris got that from the ex because that's what she said about Jessica when she met her. I didn't like Marie's vibe. He seemed like he was perplexed about what occurred and he was thinking about, having to make it right with Jessica because she was one of his connections because he knew she was upset.
Murray, from my vantage point, seemed like he was a little fickle about how he needed to deal with this situation. He had, I guess, a poor choice of words during the elimination process.
She asked who thought she was combative or argumentative because she didn't engage anyone like that
Yeah, but only
or
three of them were
combative.
truthful when they said that.
Right.
Only three of them. The fourth one was not.
Chris was not. Kat went to the room that Philip and Marie shared and she asked if Marie was all right because when Jessica was trying to find out who said she was combative and argumentative, he left the room and she wanted to find out how he was doing. And he was quiet and said he appreciated it. And then Kat did a strange thing. She said um, that Chris was justified in saying that Jessica was combative and argumentative.
And I just think that she was couching it conditionally.
Janelle and Jessica on the deck and they're having a glass of wine and Janelle is trying to lift Jessica's spirits because she said that she can't stand a liar and she knows exactly who said it. But when she asked him if he did, Chris denied it. So she was upset, and she talked about the energy Black women get when they want to speak their mind and they speak their mind and it's couches them being loud or aggressive or combative or argumentative. What they're saying about you is not true and it's all labels that sometimes stick. And she was upset that, of course, this was captured for everyone to see. Maria and Jessica sat down. He was apologetic. He understood that he should not have used the words that he used, but at this point, Jessica has left the building. She doesn't care right now, and
Well, I think she was still pissed off. So at some
yeah,
point in the process, she still cared because she cared enough to be pissed off about it, even though she had maybe moved beyond it. At least he, in hindsight, took the time to acknowledge that, hey, look, I didn't quite say that the best way that I could have or should have. and I should have taken into consideration more of how you would process it in your feelings.
To break up the negative energy in the house, the guys decided to go fishing.
Yeah, it was Philip, it was Chris, and it was Quentin. Marie arrived a little late, and then I think
They
some
were
of the
joined by the
ladies, yeah,
ladies,
some of the ladies joined in.
Lee, Katarina, and Aries.
Hmm.
And surprisingly, none of the guys knew how to fish. Phil said he hadn't fished since he was a young man. Q said he's allergic to fish.
The fishing
And
line was hung up and tangled up, and the reels weren't reeling properly, and it was just a complete mess in terms of trying to cast and trying to wind up, reel it back and cast again and reel it back. And I didn't see no damn bait on the hooks either.
well, Quinn captured something. I'm not sure what it was, but
Yeah,
he
minnow, a
told
minnow.
then he told Lee to get it off.
He should not have done that. You
So
need to fish for a little bit of testosterone at that moment.
Lee was trying to, get close to Quinn.
Yeah, she was trying to
To
snuggle up and cozy up to him, brother, right there, right there
but to
on the pier. But you know
take the
what?
fish, and Janelle came out and started calling
Hey,
his name,
hey, you,
baby,
babe, what you doing?
come over here. Did you see how he just took off?
Yeah, he was like, it's like, yeah,
It
she
was.
calls and he comes running.
When did it become like that for them?
I don't know, maybe at some point in time off camera, but it certainly hadn't, from my vantage point, happened on camera. But there's a whole lot that we don't see. But one thing's for sure, it's not a good look for Quentin to be rolling like that,
No, it's not. It's not very attractive.
especially when somebody else is trying to get to know him as well, like a
Exactly,
Lee.
exactly.
And he claims
So.
he's got a serious connection with her, but he ain't acting like it.
No. Chris talked about his connection with Lee and how they're getting deeper and deeper in. And we see him taking her out to the dock, and he had a gift for her. And for me, it was just a pretensive thing because he knew the woman had the power to eliminate. He was just, as you say, capping.
Yeah, he was trying to protect his or solidify his spot in his own mind, so that he could be around for at least one more week. So, in order to do that, he made sure that he did not show up empty-handed to his meeting with Lee.
Yeah, but the gift was suspect, and that's all I'm gonna say about.
The gift didn't look, um, shall we say, high quality.
We see Chris taking Aries out.
He set up a chance for them to kind of do a little bit of archery, bow and arrow at targets, and I don't know about you, but in terms of proximity, it seemed like it was roughly uh, maybe 8 feet away or less. So it's not like they really had much of a challenge because it was literally
Right in front of them.
right in front of them, or so it seemed like to me.
But it was a little stunt.
Formative for the cameras.
Right.
Okay, I can go with that.
Back from the weekend spot, Kat and Maria goes on a date.
Hmm.
And Kat wants us to think that she and Maria have this budding connection going on, but there's nothing there.
Yeah, and Marie kind of takes a page out of Chris's book and presents her with these two stones,
Yes, an
right?
amethyst stone and another stone
Hmm.
because he believe in that sort of thing.
Right, and apparently, I think Kat and Marie both feel like there's kind of like a spiritual connection between the two of them.
Yes.
I don't know necessarily if that's the case or not, but it seemed like it was welcome news to Marie.
Yeah, he was surprised he couldn't keep that up.
Pleasantly
But
surprised.
and then they talked about their future, and she said she gets antsy when she can't travel, and he indicated that he wants to live abroad for an extended period of time, and
And so does she.
she wants to do that as well. Well, in that instance, they were kindred spirits.
Yeah, they said that the conversation seems to be natural between the two of them. I'm not necessarily convinced or thoroughly convinced that that is indeed the case. I think she's trying to
She's
make
trying
sure
hard.
that, yeah, make sure that she's not eliminated next week for lack
Exactly.
thereof of
Exactly.
connections.
Exactly.
But
Because
that's the message or the modus operandi that I think she's operating by.
right. Janelle and Quinn, they met for dinner and talked about what a good relationship they have and how much they enjoy each other. And then he asked her a question. How does she deal with
Conflict
conflict resolution?
resolution. She made it clear that she likes for whoever she's dealing with to give her examples so that she can take ownership for her part in it, and I guess that's fair. That's entirely
Yeah,
fair,
yeah.
entirely reasonable from my vantage point, and I thought it was very, shall we say, introspective.
Quentin has to stay on Janelle as it relates to that because she has a tendency to just go from 0 to 100, and his personality type doesn't seem like he's one to deal with that and deal with it well.
Well, I was wondering whether or not he would have thought to give Janelle.
An example.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like when she and what was it, Kat got into it,
Yes.
and how Janelle's representative showed up and how bad she looked, and that would be a perfect example of her not doing necessarily a great job at conflict resolution.
Right. Because one thing I've learned for sure, if a woman is disrespectful to other people, she's gonna be disrespectful to a man. If the man talks sideways to other people, he's gonna talk sideways to his woman. And you can't dismiss bad behavior and think it's gonna change because you're the person dealing with
Well, in
that
that
person.
situation, I think Quentin missed an opportunity to speak up,
Yes.
not only as part of his confessional, which he did, but also, right then and there to her more directly.
Yeah, he could have simply said, "Well, when I saw you interacting with a cat, that wasn't a good look for
At
you.
least not from my vantage point,
We gotta start doing stuff differently."
right? Or he could
So
have.
she is aware. She said she wanted examples.
That was a
Here,
perfect time
here's an
to give
example.
one, and I think he missed an opportunity to do so.
Phil met with Aries,
Mhm.
and Aries clearly likes Phil.
And Phil clearly likes Aries.
Right. They have a good vibe going on, and she recognized that in the time away that Phil was more intentional with her.
But
However,
she does have an issue though, and
it
one of the issues that I think she referenced was is that while Phil checks off a lot of boxes for her, Phil has not really said, what I guess in terms of his plan is, or the direction he's going as it relates to, I guess, his businesses or anything like
she
that.
wants to know if the man is stable financially. And if that's on her heart, why not ask him? He's right in front of you. Ask him a question.
Again, another opportunity
Right.
missed to be direct, to be intentional about the information that you're trying to gather and what you're trying to convey in order to get that information that you're requesting.
I'm checking for you. I really like you, but it's when I hear you talk, you see your finances seem to be iffy at best.
Hmm.
What exactly do you do?
Hmm.
And how do you see your future? Just ask a simple question like that.
Yeah, maybe she thought it was too soon for that. Maybe time and more conversations would be, I guess it would something like that would be revealed. But I don't see, they're grown folks and many of them are in their 40s. I don't see the
Why wait?
yeah, I don't see the urgency there to find out as much information as you can as maybe it could be, over stuff like that, especially at this point in the process.
Because she did say we're not like young.
Right,
We're not young people.
right.
So ask the man a question.
Yeah.
So when you have to leave. When you have to leave, make sure he understands it's because you didn't come clean with me. That's why we have an issue here.
It could save a little bit of time and effort in the future.
That's all I'm
It
saying.
could, but
That's all I'm saying.
also as part of that conversation, I thought Phil took a moment to be vulnerable, if you will, and basically referenced how he feels like he's ready to be in a, I guess, for lack of a better expression, a committed relationship, and that's because of the passing of not only his father but also his stepfather.
He had a lot of loss,
Hmm.
two people dying back to back,
Right.
and that must have been traumatic for him. But I still feel like his response shifted the conversation that she had in her head, and
You mean the initial question?
she needed to be focused and pivot back to
Now that's what you would have done, but but and you would have been a lot less subtle probably, but but like I said, it's grown folks TV, so it'd have been okay, I guess.
we have to deal with
Yeah,
this.
but your investigative behind, boy, you would have been all up in that.
Notebook and all.
Absolutely.
Gotta track
Tape player, click,
what is being said.
click, tape player.
I just think that women need to, if they have a question, ask a question. You're gonna to have hard conversations and the backbone to stand flat-footed and say, "Hey, I noticed we want to go this, but I gotta find out about this first because this is the way I want to live, and I will need to know if you can support how I want to live." That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right. We'll go with that. The ladies reconvene in the ladies' lounge, right? Well, there was seemingly a tension in there, and I guess you can speak to this more so than I could,
Yeah,
but
Jessica was trying to explain why Chris didn't fill her eye. She talked about him labeling her and how that wasn't the thing to do because she has never dealt with him in a disrespectful way, so she feels like he attacked her basically. But Lee um said that she may have felt that way, but that's not how you treat her. And again, because a man doesn't treat you the way he's treating his other woman, still be mindful about how he's treating that other woman. You can't dismiss that at all.
well, her experience, even though it's not what Lee knew anything about, was different, and she's got to be less discounting of that and more, I guess,
Because you're
more
gathering
willing to, yeah,
information.
more willing to embrace, and hear what somebody else is saying that differs from what she's saying or has experienced, and at least initially, kind of validate that.
Look how people treat each other because that will tell you how they're going to treat you.
To me, through all of this, Jessica really has been, I think, accurate and on point with how she's responded. It doesn't necessarily mean that
She's perfect.
right. I'm not saying that at all. But I don't see anything in the way of a combative tone that she may have, or a combative posture that she may have taken with anybody.
But for me, um, the moment Chris said that we met the ex, and she said Chris wants a woman to be in servitude to him, um, and you could see his eyes and how he speaks and what have you, you could tell
Yes.
something's up with this dude
Oozing out of his spirit,
because
vis-a-vis his words.
exactly. And the ex is sitting there, and she clearly is not lying on him. This is who he is.
And I'm quite sure that the tapes that she sold about Chris and their ex relationship was not something that he took too kindly to, shall we say that?
A relationship should be one of joy and cooperation and consideration and kindness. And if you're in servitude to another human being, you're not in joy. That's not joyful.
And he also referenced seeing a softer side of her too.
A softer side so he could wipe his foot on her.
Yeah, maybe in his mind, maybe. It seems like he's interested in what's attractive to him. He doesn't want any static back from his significant other. Why? Because he wants to run the show, he wants to be in control, and he doesn't want any flack.
Take that example as it relates to Lee. Does Lee think that she could do her fitness training with all her goodies showing and think he's gonna roll with that? Does
Well,
she think that that's gonna square up with a man who wants a woman to be in service?
or servitude to him.
Yes.
I don't know, but I will say this. I don't think that she's bothered to consider that yet. I think that's advanced thinking down the line to where she is, but I don't think I'm guessing when I say it, but I don't think she bothered to even
What
consider
I'm
that.
just saying is I can't get giddy because a brother brings me a
Some
pair
uh,
of sandals
bubblegum colored sandals, huh?
that I can't get giddy. I'm sorry. That's
Well,
not how it's gonna
well, I know
work.
one thing. That's how I would characterize her response, her reaction to receiving that gift. Giddy.
Jessica decided to say, "Hey, let me just stop this conversation because it's not going anywhere." And Chris did say prior to that he thought he had three of the women on lock, and the other two, which is Jessica and Janelle, will more than likely not vote for him. But he thinks that he got it in the bag because he checked out Katarina, he checked out Lee and Aries.
That was in his confessional heading
Yes,
into elimination day.
yes.
Right.
So somebody in those three flipped.
Dropped the dime on, sold his tapes. There was, I guess, the opportunity for him to come in with, a totally different attitude than he did, but the two that he came in with was not good.
Marie and Chris were up for elimination.
Right, and Aries actually met with Maurier
Marie.
to kind of break things down to him and kind of convey to him what the consensus was from the ladies' meeting. And I was really kind of surprised that Jessica, and I think it was pretty mature and adult, and even in some senses courageous for her to go ahead and do the thing where she actually met with Chris to kind of clear the air, so to speak, and let him know what the consensus was from the ladies in the ladies' lounge regarding his possible elimination.
Well, she broke it down. She asked him if she was ever disrespectful to him. He said, I think he said no, but he wants a softer woman. Okay,
Say, what's
fine. But
one have to
then
do with
she
the other?
then she said, then we agree that we no longer suited. I believe that's what we agreed on. And she
But
brought up the conversation about being combative, and he said, no, he did not say that.
which was
Marie was the one who said that, not
No,
him.
first of all, he was capping. That's the first thing because they showed a tape of him
Right,
saying it
right,
prior to.
right.
Okay, that's first thing. Secondly, Maurier chose to use words to
That he
paraphrase,
said.
right? To paraphrase the sentiment coming specifically from him about Jessica.
So the moment he found out that he was cornered now, he then pivot. He said, well, you are combative and
So, in
argumentative.
other words, he just got finished denying or lying about something that he actually said before and lied about. So he doubled back.
Right. And then gets totally that character, that kind of man who wants a woman to be in servitude came out, and it was ugly and it was vile and it was very offensive.
Totally inappropriate, unwarranted, and immature, and a whole lot of other things. Basically, acting like a fool ass bitch made punk.
Well, I it is what it is. It's there for you.
That's what he's
It's
acting
very
like.
disrespectful, and I'm surprised that whoever was shooting or what have you, nobody came
kind of
out and said anything,
intervened in,
intervene in
right, like they have done in
this
other scenarios.
exactly.
Well, here's the thing. Chris got emotional because he didn't like what Jessica was saying. Jessica did not say anything that was disrespectful to him. Jessica, like I said, I thought she was very measured and reserved in her responses. She was very accurate.
The plan fell through. So
Right.
he was disappointed
And
and embarrassed that, not only did they know that he was lying, that he was
he
capping,
got caught,
he got caught, and that monstrous
so he lashed
character
out. He turned the
came
tables. He
out.
flipped the script.
It
He
came out. And then he said in his confessional, well, I really didn't care how I spoke to her. But she said, he is not talking to her. He's talking to somebody else that made him so angry because
and he ain't
nothing that
dealt with it yet.
from her responses warranted that kind of,
Well, you
situation.
know what I would be interested to know? I would be interested to know if he will grow a pair between the time that this aired, which was tonight, okay, and the reunion taping, okay, to see if he's got a change of heart or if he's going to continue down that punk ass path that he's headed down.
I'm really tired of the men just talking to the women on this show any old way. I just think a man needs to step in and say, no, not today. This is
Well,
not how it's going to go.
well, he had it.
Because women are tired of experiencing and seeing that. And that's not the way you talk to a woman.
Well, in my opinion, had Chris bothered to, let his true sentiments and feelings about Jessica being known in a more of a group setting around some of his other male cast members, he would not have done that. Man the hell up and take ownership of his ish, okay, and apologize publicly and directly to Jessica.
And that's all we're going to say about that.
No, it might not be all I gotta say about it. He was wrong on top of wrong, and then double down in his confessional.
A cautionary tale. A man may look good, he may smell good, he may have all the words put together right, but watch how he deals with other people. That is an indication of who he is and how he's going to deal with you.
Well, all I'm saying is, in this particular scenario, how he is smelled like you know what.
Have a good one. Be blessed because you are, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
And if somebody talk to you sideways, take the high road. Jessica took the high road and she maintained the high road. So that's to her credit. Okay.
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with that part of it. But like I said, what Chris did was inappropriate, out of line, disrespectful for no reason or no good reason. Okay. He got into his feelings and, got caught lying, got caught capping and decided, well, he's going to lash out. Okay. Because he got outed. And I think you used the word embarrassed a little earlier.
Mhm.
So be it. Well, let's see. Like I said, let's see how the reunion, or the feedback and the responses that he gets from the viewing public about how he showed his ass in this episode.
Anyway, have a good week. God bless you, and we'll see you next week. Please send your comments. Let us know if we're totally off base. We just want to let you guys know that there are other options out there. We're not telling you guys what to do. A man cussing and screaming at you is not sexy.